During meditation, dude, I start feeling actual energy in my hand.
What?
Like, you know Dragon Ball?
Yeah, like
Dude, I literally feel that. I feel a ball in my hand.
Holy.
And
My mom's Asian. She always told me to date an Asian girl, like growing up. And I'm like, nah.
That is so Asian. Be a doctor, be an accountant, lawyer, and marry Asian.
Yeah.
Like.
Welcome to the Digital Social Hour podcast. I'm your host, Sean Kelly. I'm here with my guest today, Josh Palerlin.
What's up, brother?
How we doing, man?
Good, man. Just a little bit sunburned.
Yeah, it's good to finally meet you.
I know.
We've been talking for years.
For a long time.
Yeah. I don't even know where you were living when we started talking.
LA.
LA?
Yeah. When
But
you
now
first
you've
talked to
been-
me, I was in LA.
LA, but now you've been traveling.
I was out of country the past 2 years.
So where'd you go?
Oh, man, I live in 12 countries the past 2 years, brother.
You just dipped?
I fixed COVID, and I'm like, all right, screw this. I'm just going to live my life. I want to see the world. I want to see what's up. I lived in Asia. I lived in Europe, Middle East, Dubai, everywhere.
Wow. What was your favorite?
Bali, Thailand, Poland.
Mm.
But I like many countries. But one thing I've learned is when you travel a lot, you learn that there's no such thing as good country and bad country. Everything has good and bad.
Right.
Right. And it's like you just gotta pick and choose. It's kind of like my dad says, just like woman. There's no perfect woman. There's always a good one, the bad one. But the most important thing is if you can handle the bad part of the woman, then you're fine. Because most people, it's interesting. Most people when they get married, this is things saying people marry because of emotion and divorce because of logic. Because you're so emotional, what you love, you forgot the things that you cannot handle, and when you get married, that thing start exposing. So my dad told me, if you're gonna get married one day, find someone that you can be absolutely perfect. What you hate about her, what you don't like about her, if you're good with that, that's a girl you can marry. Because people see about differently. They be like, oh, I love this girl. She's smart. She's she's hot. But sometimes they, love is blind.
It's good advice. Are your parents still together?
Oh yeah, 40
That's
years.
good. That's
40
dope.
years.
Yeah, I feel like Asians usually stay together, right?
Yeah, it's a culture thing for
Yeah,
sure.
the U.S. it's 50% divorce rate.
Yeah,
too high.
yeah. I think, and you know what? As I'm getting older, bro, I realize, I'm more attracted to a traditional woman now. Interestingly, the value a traditional woman brings versus, I guess, the new wave of woman, the way they think. Because, as a man, you're in all your day, you want legacy. What's your legacy? Is your family,
Right.
right? So I see many successful men. If you talk about what is their biggest achievement, like I saw Conor McGregor talk about this, his biggest achievement was his family. His kids.
Yeah.
Forget about his double bill, UFC. Same with Mike Tyson. He said the same thing. His kids.
Yeah, it's funny you said that because my mom's Asian. She always told me to date an Asian girl, like growing up. And I'm like, nah.
That is so Asian. Be a doctor, be an accountant, lawyer, and marry Asian.
Dude, she told me every day, bro. And I wasn't into Asians growing up. For some reason.
Yeah.
But as I grew older, I agree. Like I like the value in the tradition. Of the Asian culture.
I think traditional Asian, because I was in Europe a lot, and I was in Eastern Europe, and actually lots of Eastern Europe women, they are more traditional, meaning like they value family, they want to have kids,
Yeah.
And nowadays if you ask lots of women, they actually don't think about that, and lots of them don't want kids until they're like 30, 40, and they're still realizing, wow, one of my purpose in life is nurturing and taking care of the children.
Yeah,
so
facts.
So I think now it's interesting when you travel, you see so many culture in the world, and you see, for me personally, I think the Western has been fallen recently with the culture and everything.
It's bad.
It's bad, and then you have to think about it. What is a family? Family creates a little what is called like society, right? And society creates the country. So if you start like failing of the family value, the society will start falling, the country will start falling. So, it was interesting to see how US the past couple years has heading towards versus other couple of countries.
Yeah. What do you think caused the U.S. to have such a culture shift from traditional values to what it is now with all this and craziness.
You know, it's interesting. I think I mean, I'm sure you know too. You know, it's the stages of society from a strong man's right creates a good. What's it called a strong man creates good time. Right, good time creates weak man. Weak man creates bad time.
Right.
Bad times create strong man. And currently, I believe we're in, you know, bad time right now because we got weak men. You know, I don't think, and when I say weak men, I'm not talking about physical. I'm talking about mentally, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think, I don't think 50, 100 years ago, fan will exist, even though the technology is there. It's just because mentality is so different. It's like, why would I pay to see certain things when I can just talk to a girl in the street? But nowadays, most guy can't even talk to a girl in the street because, you know, social media, everything makes so convenient. But at the same time, you are become less know how to communicate as a person, as a human being. All you need is just swipe. Right, like all you need is like instant gratification, right? Yeah. You want something to entertain, TikTok. You want sex, Tinder. It's like you know what I'm saying? Like everything's just instantaneously gratification. But when you have gratification, what happens? You know, in business and anything, your retention rate goes low, and you know it's like a kid. You give him candy all the time. Now you become like weak in a way, you know, because you don't work for it. If you can get muscle without working out. You know, like, but it doesn't work that way in real life, you know?
For sure. No, I agree with that. It makes it too easy, for sure. Tinder ruined a lot of people.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Man and woman, both.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the end of the day is, you know, we're spiritual beings. So I feel like it's not just physical, it's emotional and spiritual. You know, so it's like if you just go there for sex, I feel like lots of times you don't realize it's damaging your soul.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I feel like sometimes if you just have those one night stand and stuff since you're young, but after in life, you realize, like, I'm just wasting my time. You know, I'd rather be with someone that actually can build something long term. I can be someone that can build an empire.
Right.
You know, that's something that is long term versus short term, right? Short term, okay, cool, you can have fun and all that, but at the same time, it's like, what's the difference between you and an animal?
Yeah,
you know?
I agree. There's no purpose doing that short-term stuff.
Yeah.
You said we're spiritual beings. Have you had an out-of-body experience before?
I don't think I have, but I did have some spiritual awakening in 2019 when I was in Bali. And for the fact, I was sober, just so you know. I wasn't like on any like psychedelic. It was just I was with some spiritual people, and I started realizing certain things. And I mean, we can talk about it too.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So I realizing I talk about this actually on my Instagram before. I realized as a man, you might find it interesting. As a man, the most powerful thing you have is your sexual energy, because that's the closest thing to God. That's the closest thing to the universe. So if you have this energy, it means that's the only energy you can create life. That's the only energy you create consciousness. No such other energy is more powerful than that. But what most men do, they waste it. Right? They waste it, and they can control the energy. If you don't control the energy controls you. You know, so once I realized that, I start kind of restraining myself from it's called like semen retention.
Yeah.
So like, you know, like lots of people like the cultures like November no and stuff.
Yeah,
like, that's not. I tried it before, but if you don't have a real reason and you don't have a real like enlightenment, understand what you're doing, it's just kind of like a trend.
Yeah.
But if you really understand what you're doing and you really understand the purpose behind it, it takes you to the next level. And I can tell you, once I start doing that, I see a huge difference in me, like physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Wow.
Like huge.
So how many months did you take off from
dude, like I haven't watched the past 4 years.
Whoa.
And it doesn't like if I see it doesn't affect me. I'm just like, this is stupid. This is
4
dumb.
years?
Yes, because I'm like, dude, like once you understand certain level, it's like is something not real, right? If you watch, that means you're watching someone having sex, and it's not personal, it's not emotional, right? And then that start with your consciousness, that start messing up with your psyche. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, because like I said, we talked about earlier, when you have sex, it's like your spiritual connection,
right?
You know, and I had personal experience in my past where you have sex with a girl and you don't know her past, you don't know her trauma, and all of a sudden the next day or sometime you feel depressed and you have no idea why, and until you realize her energy is passing on through you.
Whoa.
So there's
That's
a lot
crazy.
of, I can go really deep on stuff because I have personal experience with stuff like that.
So guys that are hundreds of girls, it's not good.
Bro, you're messing out your whole energy, your psyche, and then sometimes you wonder why you're wandering around and wonder like sometimes maybe in you know, let's say you have the great success and money and everything, but all of a sudden one of this day you're like, what am I doing? What's my purpose? Why am I alive? You know what I'm saying? It's like because you forgotten the most powerful energy you have and you kind of like let it loose.
Wow.
You know, it's the same thing like what I said, you know, it's like controlling time. If you don't control the time, you don't have a schedule. Like today, you have a bunch of podcasts. If you don't schedule time, the time controls you.
Right.
And the most powerful energy you have as a man is the sexual energy. And if you don't control that, that thing start driving you. And I'm sure you've seen lots of men in your circle and in the party, they can't control the energy. And what happens to them? They get destroyed. They get destroyed by women. They get destroyed by their drive, which is a good drive, right? For me, it's like yin and yang, like a fire. A fire, you cannot say it's good or bad. It's how you use it. You can use it to kill. You can use it to cook. Same thing with sword. You can use it to protect. You can use it to same thing with your sexual energy. You can use it to empower yourself or destroy you.
Wow, that's crazy. So you don't agree with Andrew Tate's philosophy on women then?
What is his philosophy?
He can have multiple girlfriends. He could multiple girls.
I think, you know what? Everybody is quite different, so I can't really judge someone. And I would like to talk, if Andrew's here, I would like to talk his perspective and to kind of see, okay, cool, I'm open, you know? I'm open. I'm like, cool, I respect everybody's perspective. If that's his perspective, then cool. Or maybe he does girls, but he doesn't. I don't know. Andrew, if you're watching, let me know. I don't know, you know? I can tell you, I actually do the same thing. People get confused. When I say semen retention, doesn't mean I completely restrain myself from
Right.
I could still have but I don't release.
Oh. So you don't finish.
I do not. I go to 95, 98%, and I meditate every day. So there's a certain meditation I do to make my energy that I can control it to a point that, dude, I can go, it's going to sound very personal, but funny. I can go for 2 hours and I will not release.
Whoa. So you just blue ball yourself for 2 hours?
So it's funny because people keep asking me about like blue balls. Like, I don't get blue balls.
Whoa. Because
there's this thing, if you look into it, it's called sexual transmutation. If you don't know how to control your sexual energy, just like any other energy, you start like squeezing them. But if you know how to release them, but not completely out of your body, but within your body, that's how you release it. And I don't get blue ball because of that.
Wow. So you're telling me you could get the best right now from Tiana Trump and you wouldn't finish?
Nope. Because I know it's not worth it. I tried it 2 times. I would start practicing for 3 months, right? And I was like, this is crazy. This is some nonsense. Let me just see if I do release how I feel. I can tell you every single time, not worth it.
Really?
Because immediately I lost drive, and I immediately get tired. And if you understand, like in French, I forgot the exact word. If you translate it, it's called little death. When you a little part of you die.
Wow.
That's why when you feel when you drain, you feel tired physically.
You do, yeah.
You know, because you're literally part of you. Think about part of yourself leave you and the most powerful energy. And let me ask you this. I'm sure maybe not you, but people who are watching this, it's like if you ever had with a girl and you have no emotion attached, when you start for some reason, you start feeling attached to her because of that energy. Your energy start tightening up with her. And what happened is, think it's logical. It's like, as a man, this is your seed, right? A part of you become her. So subconsciously, you feel like you need to protect her because she is with you. Even though you like logically or emotionally be like, I don't care, I just want to stand, whatever. But that start affecting you.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah, I never.
Does that make sense though?
No, it does. I never thought of sex that way. That's very fascinating.
Yeah, man. It's the most powerful thing in this world.
Wow. So you're very selective who you finish in, but you'll anyone.
Not anyone.
Okay.
I become more and more selective because, like I said earlier, I don't want their trauma. I don't want their bad energy.
But you only get that if you finish, right?
Yes, And I think here's the thing. I'm not an expert. I'm just talking based on my own experience and how I feel.
Yeah.
I don't finish, but I do notice even that sometimes, you can still, when you have sex, even you don't decide to, you still have,
Right.
so
right.
that can still sleep through.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you kind of playing with fire a little bit.
Right.
So the best is if you don't have sex at all, that's the best way. So there's the three things: so the white, the black, the gray. The white is completely restrain yourself on, which is the monks do.
Mhm.
And if you study some of the monks, they had some supernatural human being power, which you don't understand how, because they constrain the energy. And black magic is more like they use the energy, but for certain things. And then there's gray, which is you can have, but you don't. But sometimes you can lead to the black part. So
Monks are not allowed to have sex, right?
nope, no,
And they're not allowed to.
no,
So they never finish.
they don't even have. So they control the energy and they manipulate it. That's not the right word. They transmute. They transmute it to their body. And dude, if you go to some Shaolin or some monks, it's very secret. It's a very scary secret. Some of these monks can do some supernatural stuff, which I have. I'm not gonna say the detail. I have seen or experienced when I was in Bali.
You serious? What'd you see?
I was training with. This is the first time I actually talk about it in public. I was training with a specific master. They used to train only the loyals in the royals in Bali. So like all the kings and the royal family only to strengthen their energy. But I was lucky enough that he took me with him, and then I was practicing him once a week to do certain type of meditation. It's hard to describe, and I can tell you, I had a crazy experience after 1 to 2 months. I certain meditation, dude. I start feeling actual energy in my hand.
What?
Like Dragon Ball.
Yeah, like a.
Dude, I literally felt that. I feel a ball in my hand.
Holy.
And I because dude, it's something that I will never forget. And also I just started after 1 month, and I talked to another friend of mine who was a monk before. He said, my friend, you just experienced energy. And it's like I can tell you just quickly. So when I do this, obviously my eyes closed. When I do this, I can feel there's something in my hand. It's like a magnet ball. When I push it, it starts pushing me away. And when I try to move it, it starts to become sticky. It's like pulling me back. And then once I started pushing, and it started getting bigger and bigger and bigger, it was like to this point, this big.
Holy.
Crazy.
That's insane. So what do you think that is? Is that energy?
I guess that's energy. That's within you. But you need to know, how to manipulate it, how to control it. Wow. So we all have the energy. We have the power, but most people don't know. And
Yeah. So humans used to be very spiritual. Why do you think that has kind of, basically gone out of existence?
I think it's not gone out of existence. I think it's still there, but it's kind of like we have the power, but maybe, just maybe, I don't know. I'm just guessing. Maybe certain people, certain group understand how powerful as we have and we are, and they want to hide that power and hide that secret to give you certain food, so your power gets lower. Why? Because it's easier to control you. So I do believe the matrix, and right. I do believe some form of matrix that we are in, and I do believe we are powerful beyond our imagination, but you have to first be awakened and seek it.
I'm having this guy named Matthias De Stefano on my show next month. Have you heard of him?
Mm-mm.
So he is able to remember all of his past lives.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you believe in past life?
I do.
Cool.
So I actually did past life regression therapy.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Tell me about that.
So I wasn't spiritual enough, so it didn't work. But basically, they put you under hypnosis, and then once you can visualize, you can see all your past lives.
Wow. What did you see?
I wasn't spiritual enough, so I wasn't getting vivid images.
Interesting.
But I know people that have done it and have had success with it. Do you believe in past lives?
It's funny. I was raised as a Christian, but I'm always open to what I experience because I believe in God. I believe in the universe. I believe that, God is not this religion thing my parents or society told me. I want a personal relationship with the creator, So for me, I'm open to that concept.
Okay.
And I have met a couple people, which is very weird to me when I was in Bali and when I was in Hollywood. certain people told me I have a very interesting bloodline and very interesting background where I came from, which I don't know how, but
Whoa.
I had multiple people told me, and some of them saw certain things behind me, and I
Whoa.
was like, I don't know.
You got to look into that, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow. Do you believe in like the afterlife, heaven and hell?
I don't know about heaven and hell, to be honest, but I do believe we don't just vanish. I do believe we go somewhere.
Your soul goes somewhere.
100%. I do believe energy doesn't it's not created. It doesn't go away. It just continues to maybe another dimension or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. That I don't know. I'm still a student of life. I don't know.
Do you believe in spirits and ghosts?
100%. So my parents actually are evangelists. They dedicated 40 years of their life to church. So they never worked one day in their life. I used to live in Russia. I lived in Moscow because after Soviet Union collapsed, my parents volunteered to go there to help people. And I have seen my dad and heard from my dad that he was literally, what's it called that? Like people get possessed, and he was, try to get people the demon out.
Whoa.
And if you've been to Taiwan, which that's where I was from, bro, I seen certain people and religion, mostly Buddhism, I guess, they have certain ceremony where people literally get possessed. Like possessed, bro. Go Taiwan, you'll see. Certain people get possessed, and they will climb stairs of knives. And they will just climb like there's nothing. And then you can tell it's not them anymore. Their eyes, everything, they just literally possessed.
You serious?
They will hit themselves with knife to show they're, invisible. But
what?
Dude, like this is this is the thing, bro. Like people say, if you don't believe God and you believe the ghost and the demon, that doesn't make sense, right? Everything has a balance. So if you believe in ghosts and demon, there's also the other side.
The angels and the
100%,
gods. Wow.
100%.
Dude, that was a great episode. Where can people find out more about you?
Oh, Instagram probably. I'm pretty active on Instagram at the moment. I'm getting back on YouTube because I've been taking a while break, just getting some personal development, spiritual development.
Sounds like you've got a lot of development going.
I got a lot. I got a lot to share, and I feel like I can definitely help more people, and I think we're heading to a very dark time, and I think as men we need to keep each other together and keep each other tight and hold each other accountable, but at the same time like push each other and stuff, because I think women are very natural to do that. They talk, they share. Men, you don't really talk to your bro like, oh, like, yeah, you see, what I'm saying? It's like, but that's also the thing. Men suicide rate is way higher than women,
right?
And that's very sad. As men, we have so much burden in society, in family, that on our shoulder that sometimes we can't even talk about because we don't have that culture. And I think we should, as a man, to have that and to talk about it. When you're down, bring a brother up.
Yeah, I agree. I started opening up past year or two.
Yeah,
it was tough at first, but
100%. But when you do, it's dude, that's how you be free.
Yeah, 100%. You don't want to go to the grave with regrets.
Yeah, definitely. I do you have any tattoos?
I don't. Do you?
I have one here. It's this too shall pass, and I have one here. It's my burn. Right here is gift. Nice. So it means gift from my heart.
Oh, nice.
So I want to make sure when I die, I can be sure to see. My past is like I want to give, but from my heart, and I think the true giving is from your heart. Sometimes when you give, you subconsciously feel like this person owed me something, but that's not the true giving. The true giving is you forget about it.
Right.
If I help you, if I do something, I want to forget about it because that's a true giving. And the true giving is from, for example, your parents.
Right.
And then you love them so much, you're willing to die for your parents because they don't care. They don't need anything from you because that's a true giving from the heart.
Right.
So
they're giving without expectation.
100%.
I love that. All right, guys, you heard it here. Josh Palerlin, Sean Kelly, Digital Social Hour. See you guys next week.
Yeah.